school counselor, but now as a high school counselor, like I can't fix your locker cut, but I can definitely get you to the person that can. Or if you have questions about like college applications, even if you're a junior, like that's completely fine. We want you to start thinking about that process, and we're a good first starting point for you with those questions. So feel free to reach out to your counselor with any questions. Miss Menifee is here with us. Where's Miss Menifee? Miss Menifee is right back there. She has all students with the last names A through E. Mr. Rasul cannot be with us tonight, but he has all students with the last names F through L. Miss Searcy is right back there. She has every student in the building with last names M through R. And then I have the end of the alphabet. I have all students with last names S through Z. We also have Miss Blocks in here, who is our guidance technician. And she works with our juniors and seniors with scholarship applications and works with community scholarships as well. She's also an excellent resource. I send kids to her all the time that need help with FAFSA or with like thinking about how to pay for college. So again, she's an excellent resource for our students. And then Miss Rozier is also in our office. She is the school registrar, and then also she is our administrative assistant. So if you come into the guidance office, she is usually the one that will greet you there. Okay, again, our goal moving forward is to have our students ready for the next step of life. So for some students, that's going to be a 4-year college. For some, it's going to be a 2-year college. Maybe it's the military. Maybe it's going into a trade school or the world of work. But our goal is for your students' dreams to be realized. And like right now, all of those doors are open for them. So all of those options are still on the table. So again, we're trying to think about what life can look like in either 1 or 2 years. Okay, how do we get there? Graduation from high school is the first step. Okay, so to do that, we need to do 3 things. The first thing is to complete all of your credits. And I'm going to go into each one of these in depth in future slides. So the first thing is credits. The next thing we look at is showing competency. So for all students in the class of 23 and beyond, they have to show competency by getting a score of 684 on their Algebra 1 OST, and a 684 on the English OST. Both of those scores are able to be seen on Infinite Campus. So if you talk to your students and look at the assessment area of Infinite Campus, you can see how they scored on those 2 exams. You may see a score of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 instead of like a 600 or a 700. That is because they got a great equivalency score when the test was not offered when we were at home remote for COVID. So anything of a 3 or higher is also seen as proficient. Okay, again, any questions, feel free to reach out to your counselor. We deal with these tests and the scoring a lot, so I know it can be kind of confusing, but ask us if you have any questions. So again, 684 or higher or a 3 or higher. All students will also have to take all 6 OSTs. Okay, so the state is looking at these 2 scores specifically to show competency, but they still require students to take all 6 OSTs. The other tests factor into earning the seals. Okay, so we have the credits, we have the competency, and then students must earn 2 out of the 12 diploma seals. First thing, credits. Okay, so many of you guys have seen this screen, probably seen it multiple times, but I think it's good to go over it. So when we look at this, think about doing that quick credit check. Has my student had all of these classes? Did they take everything? Do we need to think about adding something to their schedule for next year? Can they get the requirement done during the summer? These are all things that should be running through your mind as I go over this slide. Okay, so English. 4 years of English, that's typically English 1, English 2, English 3, or English 4. Classes like AP Language, AP Lit, College Comp, those all count as English classes as well. Math, 4 years of math. That should be algebra, geometry, algebra 2, and then a 4th year of math. Many of our students will graduate high school with actually like 5 or 6 math credits, but 4 is the minimum needed for graduation. Science, biology, either physical science or chemistry, and then a 3rd year of science. Many of our students take environmental science or physics. We also have forensics and anatomy and physiology, but 3 are required. Social studies, you need world history, American history, and then government. Health, everybody needs 1 semester of health, so just half a year of health, and that has to be done at the high school. I get the question frequently about, does health count because I took it in middle school? Like, no, it has to be the health class taken at the high school, or some of our students do health through CCP as well, but everybody needs a health credit. Physical education. So this one is kind of tricky. When you look at this slide, you might think, oh, it just says 0.5 units, so that's only half a year, but that is not the case. Each semester of gym is worth 0.25 credits. So you actually need a full year of gym to fulfill that requirement. Students can also fulfill this requirement by doing the PE waiver. So if your student is an athlete and plays on one of our sports teams here, they can fulfill the waiver that way. Also by being part of the marching band, being a cheerleader, or even doing credit flex, you can also fulfill this requirement. So just make sure that you have some plan of how you're going to get that gym credit complete. All students need 1 credit of fine art. So this is 1 full year of any class in our art department or the music department. So both of those fulfill the fine art credit. Some of the students that went to our middle schools, you'll see a fine art waiver. So some students may not have to take a fine art to fulfill this requirement, but I really do recommend that everybody take some fine art during high school. It looks good on your transcript and also helps you to qualify for the honors diploma, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then 4 credits of electives, making a total of 20 units. Okay, these are the minimums. This is what you need to walk the stage. Okay, but again, many of our seniors will go above and beyond these minimum requirements. For example, like, I would say the majority of our seniors have like 25, 26 credits when they graduate from high school. Many of them will take 4 years of science and 4 years of social studies instead of the minimum 3. Many students take multiple years of foreign language or CTE classes. So again, this is what's needed for graduation, but we will, as the guidance staff, like really encourage you to go above and beyond. Okay. In order to move through the grades, students need to earn 5 credits to become a sophomore.
Sorry. We're just going to switch microphones for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, in order to become a sophomore, students need 5 credits. In order to become a junior, you need 10, 15 for a senior, and then 20 to graduate. Okay, I referenced this a little bit before. The honors diploma. So for the traditional graduation diploma, there was the requirements that I had up there before. If you are a student that is looking to earn an honors diploma, there are a couple additional things to keep in mind. Okay, it's the same 4 years of math and English, but then you need also 4 years of science and 4 years of social studies. Okay, so in the building, we have a bunch of different science offerings: forensics, anatomy and physiology. There's a new neuroscience class that we're going to be offering. So there's a lot of ways to complete that 4th year of science. Social studies, there's a bunch of social studies electives that we have in the building. Many of them are semester long. So if you have a student that's going to be a senior, they're probably finishing their government class this year. They might want to look at African American studies, lessons of the Holocaust, social psychology, political philosophy, or intro to American studies. Those will all fulfill the need to get to 4 credits of social studies. Students need 3 years of the same foreign language, or 2 and 2. So if you did 2 years of Spanish and then 2 years of Chinese, that would fulfill this requirement, or like 3 years of Spanish. 1 unit of fine art. That cannot be the middle school fine art waiver. That has to be a fine art credit done here at the high school level. They need a 3.5 GPA unweighted, okay? So a lot of times we reference our weighted GPA. For the honors diploma, it has to be a 3.5 on the unweighted scale. That is visible on your student's transcript. You'll see the weighted GPA, and then a couple lines below that, the unweighted GPA. They'll also need a 27 or higher on the ACT, and a 12 or a 1280 on the SAT. Okay, students need all of these requirements, but if they're missing one, you can still qualify for the honors diploma. So if you got all of the credits, but maybe missed the score on the ACT or the SAT, you would still qualify for the honors diploma. And then Ms. Menifee is going to talk about the competency scores.
Good evening. As Mr. Murray referenced, the next part of completing your requirements is your testing requirements. And there are 2 tests, the English 2, along with your Algebra 1 OST exams that you have to receive 684 or higher on in order to meet the requirement or your testing requirement. So those are the 2 tests from the State Department that you have to meet in order to meet your testing requirements for graduation, Algebra and English 2. But as stated, students will take more than those 2 end-of-course exams. They will also take an end-of-course exam in geometry, biology, American history, government, and English, well, of course, English 2. They will take end-of-course exams in that, and that goes and qualifies for your seals. I like the seals because the seals are talking about your performance. It's not just testing, but your performance and skills that you acquire, and you're able to demonstrate those skills to meet those seals. You have to earn 2 diploma seals. There are 9 that's listed that are state diploma seals, and then we have 4 that are defined by our district. When we're talking about our seals, we have the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. That seal is a student who's working, then they're going to have 3 evaluators, and the evaluator is looking at their performance skills or their skills, professional skills on the job. They're able to evaluate them. So the student will come and talk to their counselor, and we'll be able to guide them through the paperwork that they will need in order to meet that seal. And then we have our CTE seal. So our CTE program, you'll hear about the different programs that we have in our CTE department, but the CTE classes goes towards a seal. CTE classes can go towards receiving college credit and also receiving that certification. So you have your CTE seal. Then we have our juniors that are going to take the SAT on March 2nd. Depending on your score, you can earn a remediation-free score on the SAT or a remediation-free score on the ACT. When they take that test in March, on March 2nd, we really tell them to really put forth, really think about what you're doing, use all of your test-taking skills. This test is not just college, but of course it goes also towards your seal, and it goes towards preparation. So they will be able to take that test here for free, and it's during the day on March 2nd. And students should receive their letter. Some students have received their letter today, and it's being mailed home, as well as you will receive an email copy of the letter. Military enlistment seal, and this is a student that's interested in the military, and once they enlist in the military and once they fulfill the testing, that can go towards a seal. And then we have our science seal. So once again, when you're taking, the students took the biology OST, they took that in 9th grade, some might have taken that in 10th grade. If they had a 3 or higher, when you're looking at it in an assessment scale, if they have a 3 or higher, then they receive the science seal. However, if they earn a final course grade of a B or higher in an advanced science course, such as chemistry, physics, they can also receive the science seal. And if they take a CCP course, in science at the college level and they receive a B or higher, they earn the Science Seal. Our Citizenship Seal works very similar to the Science Seal, except for citizenships deal with American history and government. So if they score 3 or higher on American history and government, the OST, which they'll take that government OST in April, they've already taken the American history OST. Our 10th graders will take the American history OST, and our 11th graders will take the American government OST. And if they score 3 or higher, then they can qualify for the Citizenship Seal. If they earn a score or a grade of a B or higher in their American history course and their government course, then they can earn the Citizenship Seal. So it's both of them together again, and a 2 or higher when they take the AP American History exam and the AP Government exam, and then a B or higher in the College Credit Plus course. Those are the 2 seals that, or the Citizenship and the Science Seal, both goes towards their classes. Then the Honors Seal. Mr. Murray talked about what qualifies for the Honors Diploma. So when students receive everything that's qualified for the Honors Diploma, they'll receive the Honors Seal. And then we have our Biliteracy Seal. So for Biliteracy Seal, if a student scores a 3 or higher on their English 2 OST, as well as, in addition to, they have to have a 4 or better on their AP Spanish, AP French exam, then they can they can receive the Biliteracy Seal. And then we have our Technology Seal. So if a student is in any of our technology courses, AP Computer Science, Introduction to Engineering, and they have a final grade of a C or better, then they can receive the Technology Seal. So again, it's going towards your performance, it's looking at your grades and how you're doing in those classes. Then we have 3 seals that are defined by our district. Community Service Seal, student completing 40 hours of community service, and it's starting in their 9th grade year, going up to their senior year. And then we have the Fine and Performing Arts Seal. So a student that's in choir or band, or they're doing ceramics, or if they're doing photography, if they have 2 full credits in art or music class with a C or above, they receive a Fine and Performing Arts Seal. And then a Student Engagement Seal. Very important because we don't want the students to just focus on academics, but being involved. So Student Engagement Seal looks at various extracurricular activities, and you have to have 4 semesters. It does not have to be the same extracurricular activity, but 4 semesters in the extracurricular activity. They're involved if they are in choir, or if they are in our marching band, or if they're in our club, the various clubs, or if they're a cheerleader, then they can receive 4 semesters of a Student Engagement Seal. And we have a lot of extracurricular activities that are listed on our website, from ski club to bowling club, but it's 4 semesters in an extracurricular activity. So again, that's 2 seals, 1 local from the first 9, and then they can receive another one from the state and another from the local. So it's 2 seals, 1 state defined, 1 locally defined. We have started the scheduling process, and this is a continuation of that process. We went into our classes during the month of January. We visited the English classes, talking to our students about this presentation that we have here. They receive scheduling sheets, talking to them about the classes that they can sign up for or that they're interested in taking, making recommendations. Teachers are making recommendations as far as courses are concerned. And now we're meeting with our students. This week we're meeting with our 11th graders, going through their courses, meeting one-on-one with them, going over their sheets. We encourage them to take those home, to talk to you about their selections, to talk to you about their classes, and also to talk to each other about their classes, to make that decision on the class that they would like to take, but also making sure they fulfill and complete their requirement. We are going to go to our middle schools in March, and then On the 14th, you should receive course selection. It's just course selections. This is not, it's not in stone. We're still working on it, but it's the course selections that should be mailed home for you to be able to talk together as a family over the selections. And if you want to make any changes, then that would, your student would bring that back to their guidance counselor. If you don't want to make any changes and you're satisfied with the course selections, then you don't have to return the course selection sheet. When making those selections, as stated, we use our website, we use Infinite Campus, we use faculty and staff, and we also use a wonderful system that we have, our Naviance system. Our program planning guide, which our course catalog, can be found on the website. So if you go on the website under quick links, you'll see the course catalog. This catalog is about 70, 80 pages long, so we do not print it. But it's there on the website, and it gives you a nice description of the courses. It also gives you a sequence of each area and the courses for each school year or each grade level. It breaks it down, telling you the credit. It lets you know if there's a fee associated with it. So it's very important for you to be able to go on the website to look at the course catalog for this year, to be able to help and to have more information about the courses.
Good evening, everyone. As we continue on in our discussion about scheduling, as you can see, we offer a plethora of AP courses. Some of our AP courses are offered on an every other year basis. So some of our senior families and our junior families, just so you know, AP Chem is offered every other year. AP Micro and Macro is offered every other year. Just an AP Physics and AP Psych is offered every other year. Also, for our first timers, if you have students that want to take AP courses, we do offer AP camps in the summer before the start of the new school year, just to prepare students with preparation, time management, things of that nature. Throughout the year, teachers will also offer prep sessions for the students, just so that they can stay on track, because there is a lot of work that comes along with these classes. And just to keep them on a pacing guide, you know, the teachers do offer supports. Next, we have our career tech programs. We have a consortium with Bedford Heights, Cleveland Heights, Maple, Shaker, and Warrensville Heights City Schools, where students have the opportunity to take specialized programs in the various areas listed. You can also go on to the CTE website to see what programs are still available to those junior students or those rising 11th grade students to apply if they have an interest in those programs that are listed. Some of our highly participated programs are probably already full, but I still recommend that you go and take a look if your son or daughter has an interest in any of those programs, to go in and apply for those programs on the website. Also, if you have questions, you can see one of us tonight. If you have questions about the program and if we can help you, we'll make sure we direct you in the right direction as it relates to our career tech programs. College Credit Plus. College Credit Plus are a program that is designed for students to earn high school and college credit at the same time. College Credit Plus is open to grades 7 through 12. We have 4 courses that's offered here in the building. One is College Comp 1010 and 1020. It is offered through Tri-C programming. We have 2 other courses that's offered through Kenyon College, which is the neuroscience course that it should be listed on your sheets, and the Intro to American Studies. If students are interested in participating in any of the CCP courses, students have to complete a CCP intent form before April 1st. If students don't complete the form by April 1st, he or she may not be able to participate in the program. That is the state deadline. Once students complete that process, students will have to go on and apply to each college if they're interested in participating in those particular courses. If students are interested in participating in any additional programs such as Kent, Cleveland State, Notre Dame, I suggest you guys make an appointment with you guys' counselor so that they can go over the process with you guys so that you guys don't miss deadlines, etc. Each college has their own deadline, so it's very important that if this is something that you and your family is interested in participating in, to make sure that you are making that appointment with your school counselor as soon as possible. Final scheduling steps. We've already been meeting with students. So students should have brought home their course requests and talked over some of the courses that they're scheduling for, along with maybe perhaps if the teacher has already recommended them for some courses, making sure that you guys are just looking at the transcript, because grades just roll from first semester to the transcript, and just making sure that we're on the correct pacing guide, academically, making sure we're hitting all of those mandatory courses that we need for graduation. And as Ms. Menifee has already stated, we've began meeting with 11th graders today. So we'll be meeting with other students, the rest of the 10th graders, this week. Here's a copy of your transcript. You can access your student's transcript in Infinite Campus. All you have to do is log in, go under Documents, and pull it up. And if you also want to take a look at your son's or daughter's test scores, you can go under More and look under Assessments and review those there. So we're looking for that 684 or higher in English 2 and Algebra 1. A finalized scheduling sheet should look like this for your son or daughter, making sure that they're hitting English, math, science, and social studies, which is mandatory, making sure that they're hitting those elective courses. If you see an asterisk on your course request sheet, that means that that course is only a semester long. So please make sure that you have 2 courses on that line. So, for example, Health and Creative Writing. If you look on your course request sheet, the course request sheet has an asterisk by Health and an asterisk by Creative Writing. Therefore, that is 1 year long for that period. Okay? And so the 8th period is lunch, as Ms. Menifee has already shared. This is just a list of courses. This is not what your son's or daughter's schedule will look like. This is just a list of courses, and as we go on to next year, that's how the schedule will be filtered. But this is just a course selection sheet.
So just to sum up, we just want to say that when students are when they're scheduling their classes, we tell them it's not just about selecting classes for graduation. It's about preparing for your future. It's about thinking about those courses that give you the opportunity to explore different careers, different things that you might be interested in. It's about making sure that your high school years are fulfilled, and always, always preparing you for success, because we know the ultimate goal is the career. We're just talking about what that path is going to look like for when your students graduate in 2023, 2024, and we always start off with that video. I know when you came in, a video was going, and sometimes when the students are looking at that video, they are so excited, and we're like, this is coming, this is right around the corner for you. When we're in the 9th grade classes and when we're in the 11th grade classes. And sometimes they're just in disbelief that it's going so fast. So we tell them, you have to be prepared. You have to think about your courses. You have to always look at your transcript. You have to be aware of your assessments. You have to talk to your parents, your teachers, and your counselors, because you have to make an informed decision. You have to make sure that you are prepared, because, as you know, we're moving towards your future, and it's your future that you're moving towards. So we have these discussions constantly going through working and talking to our kids. There's a sophomore checklist that we have, and we tell students, think about life after school. Think about what you're interested in. Think about yourself. Think about your strengths. Think about your weaknesses. This is the time to talk to different people about colleges. Maybe not specifically go into that research, but at least talking to people about colleges, about career paths, about opportunities for internships, thinking about volunteering. This is the time where you should go out there, because this is what colleges look at, and this is what jobs look too. You're volunteering, making sure that you are involved in extracurricular activities. It's not just academics, it's extracurricular, it's well-rounded. It's making sure that you are prepared for whatever path you choose to take in life. And then taking the PSAT. We already took the PSAT, but making sure that they're prepared to take the PSAT. And there's other things that students need to do in that sophomore list, but this is just a little tidbit of it. And if you go on the website, there's that site, and the site is for our school, and there's lots of information there that's being given to you. There's a newsletter that's always sent out on the Cleveland Heights website, and it has tons of information, and it has a sophomore checklist, a junior checklist, a senior checklist. And as juniors, that's when you really take a deep dive. You're learning about the colleges, you're researching the colleges, you're looking to see. A student will come in, they'll say, should I take this math class? And I'll say, well, look at the college that you're interested in to see what's required. Or they say, I don't want to take a math class. Look at the college that you're interested in to see what's required. Signing up to take the SAT, as I said, they're going to take the SAT in March. That's here, that's school day, that's for free, but students will probably want to take it again. So they will want to take it, maybe signing up for it in June, looking at SAT or ACT or ACT, depending on their strengths, attending college fairs. Unfortunately, the fair that was scheduled for here due to COVID was canceled, but there are virtual fairs that students can attend and go to. Researching, they're going to have to research their college essay topics, and this is especially for our 11th graders. Thinking about that essay, what you're going to write, already having it prepared so that you can tweak it to answer any type of prompt that's given to you. Common App gives a lot of different prompts to help you as far as writing that essay, so those are some places that students can look at. And then this is the time to take advantage or start looking at scholarship opportunities. Mrs. Blackson, who does our scholarships, wonderful. She always says it's like a job when you're doing scholarships, because you have to just take the time every day going through looking to see what's available and to see where you qualify for scholarships. So just a little tidbits of information for the junior and sophomore years. And then, as we say, we use Naviance. Naviance is what we use. That's our platform here at the high school that we use as far as transcripts, college searches, super matches, as far as finding your strengths and weaknesses. Naviance is full of lots of information, so I hope your student has kind of, pulled you in and showed you their Naviance account, and that maybe you'll utilize Naviance over the summertime to help students take opportunities. So now Mr. Murray is going to take you through Naviance, and have you explore some sites that our students see.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Menifee. I have to run this part of the presentation from back here. Okay, so all of our students in the entire district actually have a Naviance account. Okay, they start using it in middle school, and then every year we have some activities for our students to do in Naviance so that they can get used to the platform. So in their junior and senior year, it becomes a huge part of what they need to do to start that college application process. So I actually have to go a kind of different way to get there. Your students can go in through Clever to access their Naviance account. I have to go in through this way. But when they log on, their account will look like this. Okay, so in their junior year, students should use the career and college tabs to start that future planning. So for colleges, I really like this Super Match tool. So you go in here, you can search by location, by academic program, by all these different categories. So I have one loaded in here. So for my location, I chose Ohio because I want to stay close to home. And then for my academics, I chose two different majors, counselor in education, and then also physical therapy. So I'm undecided, I'm a high school senior. These are two things that I'm thinking about. And then Supermatch will show me schools in Ohio that have either one or both of those majors. Okay, so University of Findlay, I see that it's 100% match. I can click on here and it'll show me that it has the location that I want. It's a private school. It has a 4-year degree in physical therapy. Okay, so that if I hit this heart here, it will save it to a bookmark bank that Naviance keeps for me. So I can go through and look at all of the schools that match what I need. Then there'll be some schools like this. All right, so Indiana Wesleyan. So that was only a 90% match because obviously it's not in Ohio. But it is close. So Naviance says, okay, so it doesn't have all of the criteria that you like, but it is close to the region that you have selected. It has the major that you want, so you might want to look at it. And so when I click on that, it'll give me some information about the college. So it just gives you a way to research schools. Okay, so after I add this to colleges that I'm thinking about, it will create this whole list of schools that fit some of my criteria. So in your junior year, it's a really good time to start thinking about what schools work for you, if they're in the location that you want, have the major that you want, so you can take the thousands and thousands of schools that are open to you guys and start to narrow that list down to maybe 10 to 15 schools that have a couple of the things that could work for you. Okay, you can also research careers here. So if you're not sure about what major you'd like to do or what career field you'd like to go into, there are ways to explore careers here in Naviance. So it works very much the same way. Like you can take careers that interest you and put them in this bank. So again, so physical therapy, it's a major that we were looking at before. And I click on here, and it'll give me information about the occupation. So it tells me what type of education I need to become a physical therapist. It tells me the median national salary. So if I'm thinking about a career, I'm like, oh, I could live with that salary. That would be good. And then it shows nationwide also how salaries can vary. So in Ohio, that median average salary is $87,000. But if I'm like, oh, I want to live in Las Vegas, I could make a lot more money out there as a physical therapist, or in Washington State. So it's another way for your students to start thinking about what life after high school could look like. And I really see like our juniors and seniors, when they start to think about themselves in a career or at a college, they get a lot more excited about finishing high school, making sure that their GPA is up so that maybe they qualify for scholarships. So use Naviance as a tool to help facilitate that process. Like, let's look at some careers, like how much does a teacher make in Ohio? How much does a lawyer make? If you're an engineer, what does that look like? What type of education does that require? How do I get to that point from where I am right now? So Naviance is a really good tool to help them along the way. In their senior year, they're going to take some of these colleges that they're thinking about and move them over to this area here, colleges that I'm applying to. Okay, so then you're looking at your 15 schools that could potentially work for you. You've maybe contacted their admissions department. You've gone for a visit. Now you're down to 5 schools that you are going to apply to. And that number could be higher or lower than that, but just using it for conversation's sake. So you have those 5 schools that you then move to, the colleges that you're applying to. You would load them into Naviance here, and then after you put them there, it shows your counselor where we're going to send your transcripts to. So we know, okay, these are the 5 schools that should receive the students' transcripts. Also, we use Naviance to load the letters of recommendation. So your students will go on here, go to letters of recommendation, and request letters from our teachers. So Naviance knows all of the educators in our school. So say Ms. Bergman is one of your student's teachers. You can say, Ms. Bergman, please write me a letter of recommendation, and we encourage all of the students to write the teacher a little note down here. And also to have a conversation with the teacher prior to requesting. So I would actually go to Ms. Bergman and say, hey, Ms. Bergman, I really want to go to the University of Cincinnati. I want to become an engineer. Could you please help me on that path? Okay, so she would say, yeah, great. And then so your student would go here, put Ms. Bergman, and then we really encourage that the letter go to all of the colleges that they've applied to. And then just put a little note here. Thanks, Ms. Bergman, for agreeing to write me a letter of recommendation. And once you hit the submit, she will receive an email. She'll reply to that email with your letter, and then it'll go on to Naviance. We send all that information with the transcripts, and then the schools will have the information. Then we also have a digital receipt of when the information was sent. We can check to make sure that the transcripts went through correctly. So it's a good way to organize all of these documents as well. Okay, it's a little primer for Naviance. Your students have all received this information in classroom presentations. We've been talking to them about Naviance for a couple of years now, but we know, we have to talk to them multiple times about that kind of stuff. So, just, now you guys have the knowledge as well, and you can say, hey, have you gone into Naviance? Did you research some schools? Like, I really like doing the career search. I think it's fun to look at all of the different careers out there, see what it takes to get to that point, start thinking about how much money they make, what kind of education is required. Okay, so now I want to be this type of civil engineer. What schools offer that program? So it really helps to start thinking about those next steps. Okay, so thank you for listening to all of our graduation requirements, all the steps that are needed to walk across this high school stage, and then start thinking about life after high school. That is our presentation. Does anybody have questions that they would like to ask to the whole group? We'll also be available up front for anybody that wants to come and talk about like a specific situation. But right now, does anybody have any questions? Yes. Okay, so are the test scores that the students recently took on Infinite Campus, they are not yet. Math, science, and social studies will be available on the 14th, and then English is the 21st. Okay, so every score will be in Infinite Campus by the 21st. And again, those scores can be kind of confusing. So if you have any questions about proficiency level or how they did, feel free to reach out to one of us. Yes?
Can a student retake a class if they're biology or English or any other one?
The English or algebra?
Algebra. So algebra needs to, score needs to go up. Can a student retake the algebra 1 class, or is there like a study guide type thing to help the student pass that class?
Okay.
They cannot retake the course if they've already passed the course, but we do have Study Island, we do have Khan Academy. They can reach out to their former algebra teacher or the math teacher that they have now, and that math teacher will direct them to someone to be able to have the study sessions with. And we possibly might, when they take it again in April, have study sessions specifically for each area as well. But definitely, and I've heard great things about Study Island and Khan Academy. And that's in their Clever, right on their website, the district website.
I really like that idea, especially with combined, like with a special help session with our teachers. So our teachers are available after school to help students with whatever issues they might be having. And that doesn't necessarily just have to be teachers that are on your student's schedule. So we could get them linked up with an algebra-specific teacher if he's not currently in algebra. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. So PE and health are the only classes that we have that are available in the summer for initial credit. Okay, so meaning that you don't have to have like taken the class and not been successful in it. If you want to take it in the summer, we have a lot of students do that because they have electives or other classes that they want to take during the school year and don't want a space taken up by health or PE. So that's a great way to do it. Another thing is students like to take gym in the summer because they can come, do gym, go home. They don't have to worry about having gym like second period and then being like, you know, kind of sweaty and stuff for the rest of the day. So I think it's a good way to get that requirement done. Just for summer school session. So was that 5 weeks or 6 weeks?
But it's on ingenuity. So if a student finishes the ingenuity as far as health is concerned, if they finish the ingenuity in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then they're finished with their health course. So as soon as they complete it. PE is not on ingenuity. PE, they're working, they're outside.
Okay. Other questions? You guys good? Okay. All right, thanks again for coming. We'll stay up here for a little bit. Come and talk to us if you have any questions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Rising juniors and seniors, oh my gosh.
Class of 23, 24.
We're almost done.